Hello. This is the thing. I saw something. First and foremost, I think I got it. I'm going to get this down. Welcome to my channel. Before we get started, thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, doing all the things. I appreciate you protecting my edges, everybody being kind. Speaking of edges, got a new do, a little knotless boho mid back. Feeling very grown. So I wanted to talk about something. I saw
Sometimes when you
this.
think that it is over, it is not over. Sometimes what feels like a closed door, I actually like to call them like divine detours.
And
These
I'll let you watch the full video, but it was so special to me because the term divine detour was something I hadn't heard and I needed to hear it. So when I put up a little short that I think it was time for me to get back out there and get to date and do all the things, it made me think of Eddie's sister when she said, it's time for me to let him go and to get out there and enjoy life. And at first, I was like, I know you're lying. The thing about it that made me think about what his sister said is because I'm realizing that as much as I joke that I'm not going to let him rest in peace, me not letting him rest in peace is not allowing me to live, if that makes sense. And he has become such like a deity in my life um, that I am a little bit afraid that I am putting undue stress on the next person that comes into my life. And there will be, um, whether it's a good time, not a long time, or it's the thought of a new relationship is not on my bingo card, but to get out and enjoy and go on dates and go dancing and, go to restaurants and maybe even travel is something that's there for me. But I have my children and I have my friend Tanja to travel with. My friend Lisa is my support friend. I can talk to her about anything, but she's a newlywed, so I'm not going to pull her away from her husband and teen daughter to hold my hand while I try to get back out in life. But when I saw the term divine detour, it brought up the fact that as devastating and life altering Eddie leaving is it opened up another level of power. I felt like anime when they power up, like a light comes into. And this is why I've always been a bad. And then I say not by looks. I'm talking about running a household, having a job or multiple jobs, and taking care of three children. But surviving that death and sending someone home, I just started really enjoying life with is something that will either break you or build you. And the power that it gave, the divine detour of it was that when that happened, and I was already in the depths of despising my job, it was the sign that it was like, did you realize tomorrow's not promised? Like, we know tomorrow's not promised, but that was like, and I think the other part of it was just a part of me that I had to deal with that I had grown accustomed to. I'm not really allowed nice things. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again here. Then I had to get out of my self pitying wallowing And my middle son said something to me that I've said to you all before, and I'm going to say it again. He said, I think that we're looking at it the wrong way. I think that these few years, precious moments, were for Eddie, not necessarily for you. So if you don't know, if you just joined, because on my short the other day that I said, I think it's about time for me to get out and start living, someone commented, wait, I thought you were engaged. And you're not supposed to know what I'm doing. You live in life. So he died. I think one of the things that was noted, that I noted the most about Eddie when I met him, is that Eddie looked overwhelmingly sad when I met him. Like, you could see it in him, in his face. There was just like a part of him that seemed beaten down. And, you know, Eddie, you don't know. Eddie, well, I told y'all, Eddie was never married and didn't have any children. He had sisters and a lot of siblings and a lot of nieces and nephews. A lot of them didn't live where he lived. Eddie lived in Brooklyn. And Eddie was extremely lonely when I met him. And he said that as we started to date, he said that within that month, he was going to move someplace else because he was just so unhappy here. And what made it prevalent for him was COVID. I met Eddie October 2021. We were coming out of it, getting air finally out of COVID. And he said he realized how alone he was because people didn't come check on him during COVID. Relatives didn't check on him. People didn't call him. People that he'd known through work and life. Remember, Eddie was in his 60s. Nobody checked on him. So he continued to, you're in Brooklyn, he continued to jog and take care of himself. He was extremely health oriented, which is another reason that we were like, how he did. It's not the point. There was just this sadness in his eyes. I can't describe it. But as the time progressed, the way Eddie flourished in his skin and how he looked, and he had a pep in his step about him. And so it helps me that he knew he was loved. And he was overwhelmingly happy. And I'm not saying that it was because of me, because it was me. He told it me. But it was the situation. Our older love was so good because we just wanted each other. I worked my whole life. He worked his whole life. Nobody was rich. Nobody wanted more babies. We just wanted each other. And that's what's so wonderful about it. And so I think that's why I'm exhausted and weary and concerned about the idea of going out there and trying to find companionship. I'm not even going to say love because ciao. But to go out there and find companionship and somebody to spend time with, I think I'm ready for that. Or not. I really don't know because every time I talk about him, I'm still weepy because of the immense loss and how he made me feel. And I'm hoping that everyone gets to experience that or is experiencing that or will experience it when you're young. And when something good happened, he was first. When something bad happened, he was first that I called. I would get up and he'd come in from work at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would get up and sit with him, and he would be eating oatmeal, and I just wanted to be near him and and be in his presence. And people who know me in real life know that's not my, I'm like, don't you gotta go to your house? So to want to be around, or look at him and be with him was so rare for me that I think that that's why I'm I'm just at a loss. But I do know that the point of this was to discuss the divine detour, that things happen in your life that seem inexplicable, inexplicably devastating, but then there's a reason that is revealed after. And my son saying that to me helped me a lot, saying that time that we all had with Eddie was for him, because I remember there's he didn't celebrate holidays, not into it. So for me, I told him I don't care about Christmas, because if I want it, I'm order it right now. I'm not wait. I don't need to wait for Christmas. I love Thanksgiving. I love for us to be. I don't care about Mother's Day. I care about Thanksgivings. I love it. I've always had Thanksgiving at my house, whether I lived in a one bedroom, whether I lived in rented a house or lived here. I love Thanksgiving. And he was like, no. So our first year together, we met in October. November is Thanksgiving. He worked at a restaurant in Manhattan. He was concierge there. And so Nicholas and I went to have dinner with him. The kids are grown. My son was in the Air Force, and my daughter was, oh my God, I don't know where she was. Was she in Paris? Was she in? Anyway, no one was around. So we went to the restaurant and we had dinner together, me, him, and Nicholas, and it was lovely. The next Thanksgiving, I was like, I'm not playing these games with you. We're going to do Thanksgiving. So as I've gotten older, I'm tired. So my daughter is the hostess with the mostest. She does charcuterie and signature drinks and does all the things. So I drag him to her house, her and Eric's house. They were together at the time, not married or anything. And we have a time, and he's eating and laughing. And my mom comes, and we're all enjoying ourselves. And then we play a game, and we play the game headbands. Where you flip the thing, so you have a card and you put on here, and the people, you have to guess what it says. I don't see it, but people have to give me clues. So we did it with the phone where you flip it. And so we had a wonderful time. The next morning, I remember we left later that evening. The next morning, he was like, I had such a lovely time. That was so fun. Thank you for having me come. After Eddie died, for whatever reason, Eric realized when you play headbands on the cell phone, it recorded it. And so they sent me a video of us playing headbands. All right, let's everybody calm down. Anyway, he just really, the last years, the last moments, the last times that we were together were probably some of the best, some of the most wonderful of my life. And I'm glad for him. And the day before was February 13th, and it happened to snow really bad. I didn't call out of work because I was so overwhelmingly anxious. My boss was a piece of shit, nasty kind of individual, and really treating me poorly around my social media. So I didn't want to call out. It was snowing. My middle son calls and is like, I hope you're not going to work. My daughter, I hope you're not going to work. I'm like, I'm not going to go to work. Eddie doesn't, and we're from the same age group. So Eddie was going to go to work too, but he was going to go to work at 4. And then he's like, I don't think I'm going to go to work today. I found out later that my son called him and was like, don't go to work, just hang out with my mom. We stayed home that day, all day, playing around, just joking with each other. I can't leave him alone. Wherever room he goes, I'm going. He's cooked. cooks. He's in the kitchen. I'm hugging him while he's cooking. We're dancing. We're joking. Nicholas is there. When I say it was the best day ever, but it was the best day ever that it was. So I've talked about before, I'm a firm believer that foreplay is all day. And it's like not, you haven't talked to the person or seen the person all day, and then you come home and you're supposed to be wanting to jump their bones. It's those little texts, it's those little, subtle looks, or those little, hugs or whatever. So that was going on all day. Like, I won't give you too much details, but by the time the night wound down, and I think it was like, if someone could have said it was the last, I would understand that. I would understand it. And I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful that whatever compelled me to take as many pictures of Eddie that I did. Like, I had to buy a separate drive to put the photos on, because I took pictures of him all the time, sleeping, awake, standing, talking, laughing, doing his numbers on a piece of paper, cooking. Obsessed with him. So I guess that was God's way of saying, you need to capture as much of this as you can, because not much time left. But I just felt like I needed to say something, especially because, and it's so weird because the way that it works is that it's been 2.5 years. February 15th, 2024. It's 2.5 years. And there's two, rules of thought. One is like, it's been long enough. And the other is, well, like, damn, girl. Like, I thought he was the love of your life. So, for everyone, it's different. It's time. I know people who, my aunt has lost the love of her life, and she's been single for as many years as I can remember. She's just not interested in, pursuing that. And it's so hard out here. And that post, that short that I put up when I was like, this is what the men are out there saying. Like, some of the things that the men are saying and doing, the women too. But I'm on this side of it. So please don't. But the process, and to go through it, and the way things are, and the way people behave, and the way, everything is shown and society is portraying, is making it very hard. So I'm going to go outside like I did when I met Eddie. I was outside, not looking for anyone, single, just living. And I'm going to do the same thing. And maybe there'll be somebody that's just looking for what I'm looking for, just companionship. You can't come here. I don't want to go there. I don't want your money. You can't have none of mine. We can go to dinner. We can take turns. I don't want to hear it. Don't. I just want companionship. Okay. So we're going to see where that holds. But I just want to thank you guys for, again, like I said in the beginning, I'm going to say it at the end. Thank you for supporting, for liking, for sharing, and tell me some topics you want to talk about. I know that menopause is a big topic, and I thought that people were exhausted with it. But what I have said previously is that I just think, since it got saturated, I thought people didn't want to hear me talk about it anymore. But I'm happy to talk about it. What some topics you want to talk about? I think the other topic that the next topic I'm going to talk about is that how aging on social media is literally complete polar opposites. You'll have one side that is like, yeah, give me all the things, and the other side is, what's wrong with aging? It's wild time. So that might be the next thing. Another topic is grandchildren. Okay? Bye.